What's up, everybody? Haven't made a live video in a hot minute. Just been crazy with life and getting back into it. I am wearing my favorite shirt of all time, Breathe Motherfucker. It's from Wim Hof. If you don't know who Wim Hof is, he's the Iceman, and he's awesome. So this is my favorite shirt. But I had a great question from one of our members in the group, Carrie. She sent a comment on the chain and said, "What is your take on IASTM?" And even when I say that myself, I'm like IASTM. So instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization. I think it's a great question. And it's something that I believe very firmly in. I think it's a great tool. It's a great therapy when used the right way. Now, the problem, what happens is people get this instrument and they want to use it everywhere in the body. And a lot of these techniques and training systems out there, like Graston, which was the original founders of all that, they're like, find the area that hurts, go in there, rub the hell out of it until it creates a bruise and it's effective and you can use it anywhere in the body. I mean, even at a Graston seminar, they were like treating people's sinuses with the tools. And that's dangerous. That causes some problems when you're going in there and doing that because they don't understand anatomy and they don't respect what's going on. So I'm a very big proponent of soft tissue mobilization with an instrument, but there's rules that you must follow and you must respect the anatomy. You must respect what's going on in the body. So when should you use ISCA? Thanks, Angela. I'm glad that you're here. Now, when should you use IASTM? I can't even say it right, but when should you use an instrument? Now, there's certain rules that I come to and I've decided over time. And there's certain ones where you can use an instrument and where you shouldn't. So first off, the rules are as follows. The first thing is the tissue that you're treating usually should be no more than less than an inch between the surface and where you're going. If you're trying to get in there deeper with an instrument, you're not going to be able to get there. And if you are, you're just going to piss that tissue off from where you are. So instruments really good at getting like fascia, superficial things like that. The next thing is there shouldn't be a lot of blood vessels or innervation. People are like, well, what is innervation? Like nerves, blood vessels, and things like that. And then your next rule is the tissue should actually be parallel where it goes. It should go down up to down from where you go, parallel in there. So where are areas in the body where instrument treatment works really well? First is just anywhere from the elbow down. It works really well in the flexor compartment of the forearm, all the way into the hand, down into the fascia in the hand, works through everything through here. It's even good on the extensor component of there as well, because you can get to those tissues because they follow the rules. They're less than an inch deep. They're easy to get to, and there's not a lot of blood vessels in there. That's a really good place to use the instrument. Other places where you can use the instrument, bottom of the foot. Bottom of the foot is like a home run for instrument. Anyone out there trying to use their hands in there, it's really hard because there's a lot going on in there, and you can feel a lot of that grit and that scar tissue that forms in the bottom of the feet when you do that also. It's great for the bottom of the foot. It's actually good for the top of the foot, in the extensor compartment where the fascia is, where it comes right in the front part of the ankle there. A lot of those extensor tendons can get stuck through there as well. Another good area is on the anterior part of the shin, in the extensor compartment down there. So you have tib anterior, you have extensor digitorum, and you have flexor digitorum. The instruments do really well to get in there and kind of open that up. Another really good place to use the instrument is on the Achilles, specifically on the Achilles tendon. And a lot of people actually develop what's called a tendinosis in there, which is where more tissue builds up and it causes bigger problems. Those are things that tear. So it's really good on the Achilles as well. Where else can we use the instrument? Definitely good in some of the ligaments of the spine. So specifically from what's the top of the occiput down to C7, there's a ligament in there called the nuchal ligament, and it really does an awesome job of opening that up. It's really good in the thoracic spine from like T1 to T12 and the inner spinous ligament because it follows those rules again. Also, same thing down in the lumbar spine. Awesome on the supraspinous ligament. And then the cool part when you use the instrument as well is you can even use it on the fascia of the low back, which is really good. You can get some of those superficial layers where the fascia is getting stuck to the muscle. The instrument does a really good job. So I like to use it down in the thoracolumbar fascia and then also in the dorsal sacral fascia as you go in there as well. It does a really, really good job. In some cases, you can get some of the superficial lat with the instrument. A lot of times, though, that causes bruising and things like that. You don't always want to have bruising. A little bruising is okay. What did I forget? Oh, perfect in the knee joint itself, specifically on the front part of the knee in the what's called the capsule. The capsule kind of surrounds the knee. It's like a saran wrap. And what happens is the meniscus can get stuck, the patellar tendon can get stuck. So the instrument does a really good job there. And the last place you can get it is actually right on the top part of the quad and the rectus femoris. It does a really good job of getting that top layer of that scar tissue that forms in there and really starts to kind of open that up. So those are the areas to use the instrument. And usually what I say is like anywhere from like 30 to 35% of the body you can use the instrument on. And anytime you have a chance to use the instrument versus your hands, always go for the instrument because the instrument is way less work. It preserves you. It gives you more feedback. But you got to follow those rules and you got to use them in the area. So if you're going to decide if you want to use an instrument and you're like, well, does it follow the rules? Is it less than an inch deep? Does the tissue go parallel? Is there less blood vessels in there? Is there less nerves in there? Then yes. But then you get these jackasses out there that are like, hey, anywhere that hurts, I'm going to use the instrument. And then they just go in and they beat the hell out of the tissue. They create bruising, they create swelling, all that. And then they go, well, it's healing. It's not really healing. You might create some healing, but you're doing so much damage to that other tissue. Bruising, like severe bruising and things like that, is not normal. It's not part of a normal process. And people will be like, well, gua sha does this and this and this and this. It's like, no, that stuff is actually dangerous and causes bigger problems. So you don't want to be using it in areas where those rules don't apply. There's, excuse my language, but there's dickheads out there that like will rub it on like in the psoas. Like, are you kidding me? You're not even on the psoas. You're just going through the stomach and the muscles like that. They'll put it on the subscap and here. They'll beat the hell out of the traps and in through the rotator cuff and stuff like that. All you're doing is causing more and more damage. So follow the rules and use the tools correctly. What happens is these people out there selling these instruments and doing that, it's like, well, I got this one thing that's going to fix everything. It's like, no, you want to be, everyone wants to be, they go to this idea of like being a hammer and a nail. And their hammer, their nail. They're like, I'm a hammer, I nail things in. But people need more than that. They need a Swiss Army knife. So IASTM is a great conjunction. It's one of the things on your Swiss Army knife where you go through that. But it is not the thing to use across the board. So remember those rules when you're using the instrument, and use it the right way. And when you respect the rules, you're going to get a lot better treatment from where you go. And don't be one of these people that thinks if it hurts like hell, it must be doing something, or if it creates bruising or it creates any type of dysfunction in there that you're doing something. No, you're not. You're making that tissue a lot worse. And then the patient thinks they're getting better too. They're like, oh shit, look at all these bruises I got. I got beat up and my treatment's working. It ain't working. It's just actually making it worse. So that was a really good question. I love questions like this because it's just an honest interpretation of what's going on and everything like that. And if any of you have experience with instruments and things like that, send me some messages, send me some comments in here, drop them in here and let me know what you think on that as well. I think the fascia is a very key component in the treatment if you can get in there and free that fascia up. But it's not the end all be all of the treatment. It's one of the components in there. So if you have an instrument, what kind of instruments are you guys using? What are they like? How did you learn about them? What was the training involved in that? Did you just like sign up and get it for free? Did someone show you how to use it properly, how to hold it properly, how to get effective treatment and stuff like that? All really good stuff. So thank you, Carrie, so much for the question. And I appreciate all you guys that jumped on here. Looks like Francesca and Angela, Steve, Tanya. Thank you so much for popping in here. Angela, can't read, my glasses aren't right. Thank you so much for your comments, for popping on. I appreciate all you guys here. This group is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're going to make some changes. We're going to get out here and we're going to start getting people the care that they need with hands-on instrument treatment so people get the care that they need so I can avoid bigger problems on the road, pain pills, injections, and surgeries. And once again, got my favorite shirt on. If you find yourself feeling stressful today, just remember, just breathe, motherfucker, and relax and go from there. Hope you guys are having a great day. Have a great weekend. I think I'm going to also go live tomorrow because I get a lot of energy and I like doing stuff like this. So if you have any questions or things you want me to share, send me a message. Always here to help, and I appreciate all you guys. Have a good one. Bye.